And as you've heard, my name is Esther Zanambasi. I'm trained as a medical doctor, and I've been asked to talk about dangers of household cleaners. But I just want to insert a small little word in there, dangers of toxic household cleaners, because I want us to compare with what we've got, which are non-toxic. And I've called my topic, looking at it from another perspective. And I hope you'll appreciate what that perspective is. First of all, I want to ask all of you, whether you are very much like me, who after almost 40 years in medical practice, have seen some of these symptoms and signs. Dry, flaky skin, itchiness, acne, eczema, hair loss, fatigue, bloatedness, low immunity, weight that just won't budge, the weight comes to stay. So weight gain, swelling of the various parts of the body, accelerated aging. And then you might ask questions and they'll tell you, oh, I had my gallbladder removed. And you say, what? Or they might say, whenever I eat something fatty, I feel horrible. Otherwise, they might complain of a persistent metallic taste in the mouth that just won't go away. And then if you look closely and ask questions, you might hear that they are a bit yellow, jaundiced, or if they are your friend, they might even tell you that, when I go to the loo, my stool floats and it is pale. Anyway, what I've just described are all signs and symptoms of a struggling liver. And oh boy, you might be asking yourselves, why is she talking about the liver? She's supposed to be talking about cleaning products. I'll tell you why. When the liver struggles, it doesn't just happen over 2 or 3 weeks. It's something that has been going on for a long, long time. And the thing is, and let me just tell you that this talk has been inspired by the recent past, where we were all requested to sanitize our hands. Remember that? Yeah? And we were rubbing 70 and 80% alcohol into our skins. Okay? So I just thought, let's just talk about what the liver actually does. It's responsible to break down nutrients for energy. It is also the place where it produces clotting or regulates clotting of blood. So if the liver is not working very well, that will go off. And then it is also a store for nutrients, such as vitamin A. It creates cholesterol for hormones and healing. It creates bile so that you can absorb your vitamins and also process the fat, okay? But very, very importantly, it removes those things that we call xenoestrogens. Those are the outside of the body, not natural estrogen-like compounds that we get exposed to, and guess where from? From washing powder, cleaning products, skin care that you are buying elsewhere, and it's responsible for all that. So as a very hard-working organ, can you just see that it can become overwhelmed? And when it does that, all those toxins then begin to harm the body, the accumulated toxins. And you see, they accumulate a little bit at a time, and it works so hard to try and sort it out. So we can have harm from what I've just mentioned, environmental toxins affecting the liver. It might be infectious organisms. We've heard of hepatitis, it might be bacterial, it might be worms. And then alcohol, that's a big one. And then a poor diet. Now, I've just referred to how everybody was rubbing a lot of alcohol in their hands. You see, the skin absorbs and it gets into the blood, and all the blood in us has to go via the liver for all those processes to happen. Okay? So when that happens, I just want you to picture what can go on for it to become overwhelmed enough for all those symptoms and signs to happen. In short, it's daily life that overloads the liver, leading to poor health. So now, I just want to say that we have a choice. And a lot of people will say, I don't have a choice. You see, my grandmother used that brand, and my great-grandmother, I hear, used that brand. And now my mother is using that brand. So what are you talking about that this brand is causing all those problems? But how come there are all these diseases? Because you see, it's very interesting that it doesn't happen quickly, point number one. And point number two, as it progresses, that liver beginning to say, help, I'm overwhelmed. As it progresses, so too there's the progression of what we as medical doctors are seeing. Insulin resistance, the metabolic syndrome, which I can describe: high blood pressure, diabetes, a big collection of fat, so that it looks like the waist is way bigger than the hips. All those are lifestyle things. Now, why am I saying this? Okay, let me give you my story. When I was at medical school over 40 years ago, I became a bit distressed by what we were being taught in pharmacology. We were being told about these medications that could treat things. But already we had been taught how the cells work and how the body is supposed to work. So there was that mismatch in my mind that now we are putting these medications. So I decided to start looking at side effects. And I was so horrified, for example, to look at the side effects of antihistamines, and those are the ones to solve allergy problems. And we've talked about the allergies that can happen day to day. And we treat those symptoms, yet it could be the body saying, help, my liver is not working very well. So years later, I extrapolated that to my shopping habits. I started reading the labels, very much like I was reading side effects. I started reading labels of cleaning products. And I was just not happy. So I started hunting for different cleaning products. But wherever I went, there were more and more and more chemicals, more of the same. So one day, I just said, Lord, just help me. And what do you know? I got invited to look at Neolife. And there was this huge products display, and they were describing them as non-toxic, 100% biodegradable. And they're very effective and efficient and versatile. And they will save you a lot of money. You know, that day I got started. And I took 2 days leave. At that point, I was working quite hard. So I asked for leave to launch my business properly and to throw out everything I had ever bought from the store. And I replaced them. Why? Because, thank you. I just wanted a new start. Now, this is a few years ago. And all these years I've been learning, looking, educating myself, because Neolife tells us, in Neolife, and I just feel so privileged to be in the Eagle team and in Near Life, because we are told, use the product, right? So I had to make sure I use the products. I was not going to make any excuses. Then share with other people. Now, that is very significant because just picture this. We all live on planet Earth. We've been charged equally with stewardship of our planet. And therefore, if I am using great products and my neighbor next door is not, that's crazy. So it is my responsibility, as much as I can, to tell the neighbor first. Because, yes, it's great to start with all the nutritionals to try and fix those other things that we mentioned, that list. But without taking away the cause, can you see that that's a waste of time? Yeah? So those are the points I wanted to talk about. That let's start logically. So now, I just want to say this opportunity, this association with the Eagle Team and Near Life have given me a brand new career. And it is a career that you'll find nowhere else because I call it connecting the dots. And I've just connected a few dots for you. And I hope you connected dots in your mind as my story unfolded. So this is what I would like to encourage you all. Those of you who have wondered, why have I developed diabetes, as an example, or why do I have arthritis, or why am I depressed perpetually? And then you go off to your nearest doctor who will prescribe something. Just pause and think what you can change. Think what could be triggering all these symptoms. And I think I've spelled it out, that until you take responsibility for what you can change and control, you can change and control what happens in your home. Nobody is forcing you to buy other products when you can buy these ones, okay? So that is the first step. And then slowly, your body begins to feel secure, it begins to feel safe, it begins to release all those toxins that have accumulated over the years. And as you save money, that's a big thing. As you save money, you'll start feeding your body properly. You'll go into all the cruciferous plus that you haven't been buying, or the shake that you don't use regularly, or the detox program. And that will just speed things up for your liver to heal, to become more efficient, and then all the dreams that you've ever wanted. For example, to become stronger. That has always been one of my dreams. And I must say, when I became leaner, I'm also becoming stronger. And that's important because you need to do that as you grow older, as I grow older. Let me speak for myself. Okay, so I just want to give you a lot of hope that you are in the right place at the very right time. And after the recent past, a lot of people, I predict, are going to develop liver diseases because of the danger of toxins. And household toxins are no less dangerous, and that's what we can control. So with those, I wish you all a very good weekend, the rest of the weekend, and thank you very much for this.